everyone, and welcome back to Brown Coat Reviews. I'm your host, Laura, and this is my favorite co-host, my husband, Scott, and we are married with comics, except we're on the road today. So we are actually coming back from vacation, and what's the best way to kind of break up a really long stretch of road than to find an Ollie's? So we are in the parking lot for the Ollie's in Rocky Mount. We've never been here before to this particular Ollie's location. We've been to Rocky Mount, of course, but we're going to take a look, see if it's got any good comic books, and we're going to take you along for the ride. So we'll see you soon. Okay, so we walked in the door and immediately saw this Wolverine comic, which had to come home, and then we found Deadpool. Oh, the glories of Deadpool. Pretty much the prices couldn't be beat, and you see that Hulk in the background? Yes, there's more Star Wars, but the Hulk couldn't be denied. So I double-checked to make sure that we didn't already have it, but it's the Merc with the mouth for $2.99. This is the wall of comics. Now, first thing I found was a Neil Gaiman title, which is always a seller for me. It actually looked like a really interesting story, which was always a nice twist. The Robin War, which we'll talk about later. This is the Fables story. Now, you know, of course, that I have the bookends, but I've only read Volume 1, so this was a deluxe edition which had Volume 1 and 2 together. Definitely sold. Definitely started digging through a lot of these comics. There's a lot of hidden gems kind of behind all the different titles, so I tried showing them to all of you. It's a little hard to sort of balance everything and not get my arm in the way, but I did my best. So this is the Robin War. I was definitely intrigued because, of course, the Court of Owls cover. It has a lot of very intriguing tidbits in it, but I decided against grabbing it. The other thing that you will definitely find a lot of at Ollie's beyond Deadpool is definitely Harley Quinn. So this was a story that looked interesting, but I was able to resist. That one looked really cool. It's Wolverine, Japan's Most Wanted. Definitely debated that one a lot. More Deadpool. We do have that one, otherwise I would have looked into that a little bit further. Uncanny X-Men, and this is the Death of Superman, which for $2.99, like, I definitely want to read that anyways, no problem. This Deadpool is part of a run that I currently have, so I double checked, but definitely have this title. Some Hawkeye comics, they definitely had a lot of those. More Star Wars, this is Princess Leia, Guardians of the Galaxy. They actually had Silk, which I was a little surprised by. More Deadpool, of course. And Scarlet Witch. I've wanted to check out some of her stuff. This had a bit of Ragnarok, some Thor. I'm like, you know what, let me just try it and see what I think about the character. This is just kind of repeating what's already on some of the lower shelves. Miracle Man, which I do already have. Double-checked that Daredevil and decided to skip it. Screwed is a Zenescope title, which actually I recommend skipping. It is one of those random titles that meant well but did not execute very well. Batman 100 we already have. Scarlet Witch again. X-Men Battle Atom, we bought that at the last Ollie's run. So this is the Grimm Fairy Tales different seasons issues. So they're just kind of one-shot horror tales, which I already have that one, so just double-checked, made sure I don't have that volume, and carried on. More Wolverine, more cool titles. Sorry I didn't catch everything further on the right. Robin War, Justice League of America. Another Harley Quinn, which I have seen this at almost every Ollie's, so I went ahead and just skipped it. This was one that Scott actually grabbed. So this is Sherlock Holmes, Hound of the Baskervilles, which
We are definitely big Sherlock Holmes fans. It looked intriguing. I definitely considered it, but at the very last minute, sort of changed my mind. So this is the Harley Quinn title that, like I said, I've seen it around often enough, and I'm not sure if I have the single issues on this or not, so I went ahead and just skipped it. This one, on the other hand, Little Black Book, I have 2 single issues from this miniseries. I do not have all of them, and it just looked too cute to pass up. Definitely had to come home with me. That's the Screwed title that I was telling you about. It's basically a Frankenstein story, but there's another Frankenstein story that Zenescope has done that's been done a lot better. I already have this one, otherwise I would definitely be grabbing a Scott Snyder, James Tynion in the 4th title. Sandman, but it was not Alan Moore, otherwise I would have been jumping on that one very quickly. This is definitely the trick with Ollies, is you've just got to keep digging behind all the different titles just to make sure, because you will find a couple miscellaneous ones, typically at the very, very far back. A lot of Star Wars there. I was a little bit surprised. The Theater, that is another Zenescope title. Hunters, I would skip that one again if you're looking to read and get into Zenescope. Not a good jumping in point. Neil Gaiman, Overture, I have some of these single issues. I was definitely getting anything Neil Gaiman. No problems, no questions asked. So that's Wonderland, and behind it is Salem's Daughters. Those are both Zenescope titles. Wonderland I love, except they only seem to have volume 4 at Ollie's, which is strange. The single issue packs. So they did have some graphic novels kind of hidden behind them. Marvel Zombies. But this is the one that I almost brought home with me. Oh, Batman Knighfall, but look at that back cover. Dark Multiverse, and this one, I double checked it because it's Batman 89, and if it was a first print, it would be worth some serious money. It's a 3rd print, but I kind of glanced at it. A lot of these DC sets definitely seem to have a lot of great potential. However, I did find someone who'd actually already opened one of these little DC sets, so I was able to kind of show you what was inside without having to buy it. And as soon as I saw what was inside, there were some good things, but not enough for me to finally, pull the trigger. Definitely finding a lot of repeats. So that's Zenescope Godstorm. Again, it's a good title, not great. Wonder Woman, I glanced at this one. I have a couple Wonder Woman graphic novels titles that I'm already checking out. Went ahead and skipped this one. This was the only Shazam title, except it was written by Geoff Johns, and as soon as I found out that it had Black Adam in it as well as Shazam, I was like, you know what, let's give it a try. Couldn't beat the price anyways. I love this Catwoman cover. I already own it, otherwise I would have seriously considered. But while it's open, might as well flip through it. See what else is inside. More Wonder Woman. So these were some of the coloring books, and yeah, some more Shazam hidden there. But they had a Wonder Woman one. Like I said, some more random kind of activity books that were sort of hidden amongst this. This one was another intriguing one if you were a fan of the Batman video game. So this is actually the prequel comic book leading up to the video game. I thought that was pretty cool. But because it was the final chapter in the prelude, I wanted the first chapter and then the final chapter. This is the ultimate, everyone has been talking about it, must grab Ollie's hit. Geoff Johns, again, hits it out of the park. It's $10 for a $50 comic series. And this is Harley Quinn Mad Love. For $2, it's a coloring book. But it looked like there were only small portions that you could color in, a lot of black backdrops, which kind of surprised me. This was actually kind of cool. So it's the Batman Catwoman wedding album. In some ways, if I liked the wedding issue more, I would have seriously considered this. It just looked like a really pretty commemorative edition. Just wasn't my favorite issue of Batman. This was a fun one. As soon as I saw Jack Kirby, I'm like, must take a look at this. It's the legacy of Jack Kirby, which everyone knows has an abundant legacy, of course, in Marvel. So we're definitely looking forward to digging through that one more. This one's hard to see, but it is an Avengers title. Looked interesting, but not enough for me to jump in and grab. So this is me looking for the art of Jock. As you know, on the coffee table section, you can still find some comic book, stories, issues, special editions. This one is actually the different covers of the Fables series. So it looked really intriguing. The Fables covers aren't exactly my favorite, so I went ahead and skipped on it, but it was just a unique find. Spider-Man back there. And then, of course, this is the rest of the coffee table miscellaneous section, which all I really found was Star Wars, more Star Wars, and superhero origami. So who's ready for the grand total? Now, we ended up with 13 comic books. If we paid retail for them, it was about $381.87 for these comic books, or approximately $29.37 each. The Ollie's price was $75.87. However, of course I had a coupon, 15% off, so my total was $64.49 for 13 comic books that ends up being around $4.96 each. I'll definitely take that price. As always, it was not terribly organized, but there were a lot of great things to find there, so I would definitely go back to the Rocky Mount location. We got a ton of other stuff. It was just a great little Ollie's location and a great little stop along the way. So we will see you all next time, but my curiosity for all of you, which one of these Ollie's books would you grab more, or was there something else you spotted on the shelf that you would have grabbed instead? This is Laura from Brown Coat Reviews, and I'll see you all again very soon.